It's the Fresh and Friends podcast, and there's a great show coming right up.
Hello and welcome to the Fresh and Friends podcast. Joined with me is the one and only Fabian Halston. How are you today?
It's break day for us at SI, so terrible.
Terrible.
Yeah, I mean, 2 first games went absolutely crap.
Okay.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Okay, so I was going to go into this. Let's talk about PSG Talon. We'll go for a longer term view of your view of the team from when you joined and everything from there. But if we start with Six Invitational, you've had day 1 and day 2. You've lost games against Raza H Company and against
Falcons.
And against Team Falcons. That was day 1. So you now sit in your group with 0 points. You're on your off day, which is day 3. 2 more games to go. I guess my first question is, what's gone wrong?
Everything. We have much better preparation than we showed, and I mean, the big thing is I think nerves. They can't handle it. They the pressure gets to them so much. I think it's something with the Korean culture that I cannot really get to, that I don't really, understand.
Yeah.
Because we know we are not the team that's supposed to win this event. Like, we know that. Like it has to be real.
Yeah.
They know that. We've told them, like, hey, guys, we're here. If we do a good group stage, we make, like, say we make top 10, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
You should be happy.
Yeah.
But that pressure they put on themselves that nobody else puts on them is just pulling them down.
And that's causing mistakes and shutdowns and...
I mean, if you watch the games, the speed of our attacks is just not there.
Yeah.
Like, our attacks are slower than my grandmother, not the one that's alive. It's just... It takes forever to do everything. There's so much blatant miscommunication. We had one round in Chalet where we thought there was one guy, or we thought there was one guy roaming. But there was 2.
Okay.
But we didn't call that. And then we were calling for a rush for site during that round in 4-on-4, or 5-on-4, sorry. So we could have gone 5 versus 2 on site.
Yeah.
But we never rushed that when we called it. We said, let's go rush site, guys. And nobody did.
Okay.
And then they have this... So obviously now with attacks, you have to have some sort of free-flowing, right? We have steps, of course, like basic steps when we don't know what we need to do. But those are abandoned. And then we go like this old school Virtus Pro style that we don't even do in normal practice. So I don't know why we're calling that in the official game. And it's not very hard to read in a one-sided push when you take 1 minute to set up for the first step.
Yeah.
Take 1 minute to figure out that first step and how to like execute it. And then you run to site where you have 10 seconds left and you're panicking.
They know it's coming. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you execute with 10 seconds left, how many seconds more do you have to execute before the run's over? You don't have any. Because if you don't start executing with 10, you will not even get the plant down. And we've talked so many times, and we've gone through practice where, okay, you have to execute within first minute and a half. And it works fine in practice. We get rounds in practice. Actually, attack has been our strength in practice. We've been on a positive win rate on attacks. But can't just deliver it here. And then the same with defenses. We make individually stupid mistakes, and we're trying to overcompensate for those mistakes with more stupid mistakes. But it's not only that. Then, like, if we look at apart from mistakes, we're also like, every strat has its purpose. Like I always talk about defense as like an onion. Like, you have layer after layer after layer.
Yeah.
And sometimes you can actually grow back a layer by retaking or playing aggressive.
Yeah.
We have all that in our toolbox. Do you think we've used it once?
I presume not.
No. It's like strats that rely on us, like, start roaming, fall back, then figure out where's the lone guy, retake him and kill him.
Yeah.
Just doesn't happen. It's like they I don't even know what it would be called in English, but it's like they get so lame in their like brain, like they legitimately become like vegetables.
There's no solutions.
Yeah, there's just, I'm playing my part.
Okay.
And then you just sit there and wait for the best, which never comes because everyone will run us over because we simply do nothing. So it's nerves, and more nerves.
So has practice been good then?
Yeah.
But by the way that you're speaking, that's what I'm kind of inferring from that.
I mean, we're looking. I don't even mind leaking the numbers for it. Like we practiced for this pro the day before Falcons, so the first day of matches. We played 7 maps against Virtus Pro, which is a lot for one day.
Yeah.
We won 2 maps, 7-5, 3 draws on 6-6, and 2 losses, 1-7 or 5-7. And I don't remember if it was 5-7 on the other one or if it was 3-9, but
Yeah.
it was decently close.
Yeah.
Again, and also the big loss. I can't remember if it was this day or the day after.
Yeah.
Because we played Virtus Pro the day after again, and we lost 3-9 that day, or the first. It doesn't matter. But 7 maps where we're putting up competitive numbers against last year's 6 Invitational 3rd place,
Yeah.
and also major 3rd place.
And currently unbeaten at this tournament.
Yeah,
as
like
well.
we're putting up
Yeah.
numbers versus them. But then we had to do an official, and it's
Okay. Sounds a little bit brutal.
it's a tough spot. I mean, I never like to like I always want to be honest with people,
Yeah.
because I think it's the easiest way into it.
Yeah.
What is there to hide?
So what's, I suppose, short term?
Yeah.
What's the plan to try and fix it? Because you've got 2 big games coming up
Yeah.
now. You win those games, there's still a very reasonable shot that you can course correct this tournament.
Yeah,
but
yeah. But we kind of have the 2s here, both BDS and Dark Zero. Is that realistic with the current process? Probably not. Simply because if we can't beat Falcons, we can't beat Rasa Company, then we shouldn't beat BDS and we shouldn't beat Dark Zero.
Absolutely.
Can we do it? I don't know. Honestly, like you as a coach or as a leader of a team, you always say, yeah, of course we can.
Yeah.
You should say that.
Yeah.
And do I believe that we can do that if we play the same way we do in practice? Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
If we are having confidence, if we're having the right communication, and we stop panicking and putting nerves on ourselves. The thing is, like, we had no pressure against Falcons and Rasa Company because, like, again, we are not the team that's supposed to win this event. Now the pressure comes because we have no other choice than to win. Like, now we don't stand a choice. Had we won one of the 2 first games,
Yeah.
we would have been in a great position, sitting there, say 4 points. Say we win a 2-0. We'd have been in a great position with a 4-0 or 4 points and just kind of taking every match as it goes. Now we have no choice. We have to win.
Yeah. When you spoke about the communication issue, because I know this is one that gets kind of long talked about, long thought about.
Yeah.
Obviously, you don't speak Korean.
Not a word.
A lot of your Korean players don't speak a lot of English or
Yeah.
very limited
Yep.
English. How are you aware that there's communication issues? Is that feedback that you're getting from your player group?
Both feedback, but I can also see it.
Okay.
Like, you know, there's some calls that are very similar.
You know level of talking. And,
I mean, and I can hear tone of voice. Like, even if we speak very different languages, tone of voices are obviously there. Stress in your voice is there. Like, you can hear when someone's speaking way faster than they normally would.
Yeah.
You can catch on a lot of things. I just don't understand what they're saying.
Yeah.
But Gotti speaks decent enough English so that he can translate. And honestly, like, I'm so fucking angry with all the timeouts I've been taking because literally every single match except for, I think it was Bank we just played yesterday, I've taken my timeout at around 4.
Okay.
And the only thing I can say in those timeouts is, guys, stop shitting your pants and start playing like a fucking team and start playing the fucking game.
Yeah.
Start taking gunfights because you guys are shitting yourself and you're just falling back, and every single duel you're fighting is one initiated by the enemy.
Yeah.
And you will not win those games.
And that was because I covered your game yesterday
Yeah.
against the Rasa H Company.
Yeah.
And you ended that timeout by literally just screaming, fight, fight, fight at
Yeah.
your team. And I suppose in that game, is that what you was feeling? That they were scared, that they were just letting...
Not on that game, but also against
But
Falcons.
it's been the same across.
It's the same across. They're
Okay.
too scared to fight. And then, like, in the end, it's an FPS game. You have to fight.
Yeah. It's tricky.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Grow balls. Take
Yeah.
the fights. I mean, fucking hell. Misa dropped, what, 18 kills against BDS in Manchester?
Yeah.
Now the kid is sitting on 19 after 4 maps. He's better than that.
Yeah.
I know he's better than that. Ryder, in my opinion, the best shot in our team. He's just slightly above him in rating. Like, they're sitting there both at like negative 15.
Yeah.
That's not the players that they are, but that's the players that they're showing that they are, and I just know that they're not. But in the end, the people on the outside, they only see this.
Yeah, absolutely. So if we take a step back then,
Yeah.
and when we look a little bit more longer term, because I suppose it would be easy then to draw parallels between the Manchester Major
Yeah.
performance, which I think was encouraging.
Of course.
You probably came away from Manchester at the time feeling that you could have done better, but
Yeah, yes and no.
because there was games at Manchester where
Yeah.
you had opportunities to win
Yeah,
them and to
for
progress
sure.
further. To now, so you talked about Misa there, his Manchester Major performance in one game
Yeah.
compared to this. How do we get there? Like, what was happening that was going right in Manchester that you're not able to emulate here?
I think teams were underestimating us a lot.
Yeah.
That's number one. I also think that the team obviously becomes in a honeymoon period when they're getting in very experienced staff that can help them develop.
Yeah.
And I mean, we saw the step that the talent from just a few months before to the one that we saw at Manchester. It was incredible. And then obviously we made 2 replacements, but they were very logical, and I would have done them every single day of my life.
Yeah.
Because we go to boot camp in Europe and we have players dropping, I mean, I don't mind dropping the names. Roy Boy had a 0.42 KD versus a mix of tier 1 and tier 2 teams.
Yeah.
You can't, that like,
Somebody has to overcompensate the other way to.
yeah, you just can't drop those numbers. JLT had a 0.45
Yeah.
and he doesn't speak, which means that if you're not talking, you're not a support player, you have no excuse to drop a 0.45.
Yeah.
And the quality of like the game and the thinking and like just the general game sense was just non-existent here.
Yeah.
So it made sense why we made the changes. I would have done them every time I could. Again, I would say that over and over. So there was nothing to change there. We overperformed, obviously. Like
Yeah.
we should not have beaten BDS. In a real world, we shouldn't have. And then, yeah, we played pretty poor against Beast Coast, and I think we played poor against FaZe because they felt pressure was on.
Yeah.
Like, now you have a chance to win something.
Yeah.
So again, we didn't put that pressure on them.
It all gets a bit real for them at the time.
They get into their own heads. And there's nothing we can really say to them because the distance between the language barrier and also culturally, they treat us like we are way superior.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I always tell them like there's 3 levels to an organization. It's the team, it's the management, and it's the owners.
Yeah.
I don't give a crap about the 2 over ones.
You're part of the team with them.
Yeah, they're my team.
Yeah.
And if I cared about the other people above me, yeah, I care about the marketing and all of this stuff, like helping the organization grow, and they're
Yeah.
paying my salary. It's my job to do that.
Yeah.
But my first priority isn't that. My first priority is the team. So they need to stop treating us like that. They need to treat us like equals and have fun with us and do things with us.
Yeah.
But it's now like Joker, our analyst, they treat him as like he's on the same level. So it'll be all touchy-feely and like really strange to us Europeans maybe, but they're very touchy. They would never dare to do that to me.
Right. Okay.
They just wouldn't.
Yeah. And that's the hierarchy that
Yeah.
they see. Probably also an age thing as well, right? They'll see you as older and therefore. Okay.
Yeah. But we weren't done with the story, I think, because we have a lot to cover with stage 2, for example.
Yeah.
That's where what we just spoke about came in even bigger.
Yeah.
There was a massive, massive rift within the team,
Yeah.
and I had no idea.
So stage 2, your domestic Korean stage, because
Yeah.
obviously no Montreal Major.
Yeah.
There was a big rift in the team.
Yeah. They were fighting internally like crazy, and we had no clue.
And we being the coaching staff.
Yeah. because we
Management
weren't
as
told.
well, or
Well, since our team manager is also Korean, he's the translator.
Yeah.
I think he has messed up a little bit here. He needs to translate this correctly for us, and he needs to tell us about the emotions.
Okay.
He didn't.
right.
Why that is, up to him.
Yeah.
But it's a mistake.
Okay.
We didn't know this until we had basically lost the playoffs grand final. So we lost against
Okay.
D+.
Yeah.
Then we didn't practice until LCQs. We didn't practice a single day because there was too much like arguing going on. And then after LCQs, massive blowout, and people were just saying, I don't want to play with him, I don't want to play with him. Just basically fighting with each other like little children.
Okay.
And not giving a reason for it. And then, yeah, I mean, we managed to figure it out, managed to fix it, but still one of the players wanted to retire. I couldn't let him retire because we trialed people,
Yep.
but Korea has about as many players in it as yeah, I don't know.
The pipeline's rough in Korea.
There is no pipeline.
Yeah.
Like, it's so freaking rusted that there's not a single player I can grab.
Okay.
They're all stuck either in D+ or Fear X at that point. Those that are decent. and there's not a single one not coming. There just isn't. Like, it would have been better that I play and I don't even speak Korean.
Really?
Yeah. I think the players we trialed, it was absolutely terrible.
So, I mean, you don't have to answer this again if you don't want to. Would you care to say what they were infighting about, or is it just a level of frustration?
I would say expectations.
Okay.
And that's where I actually side with the person that everybody else wasn't siding with.
Okay.
So basically, Misa was putting a lot of pressure on them. We need to improve. We need to get better.
Yeah.
And people were thinking he was too hostile with it.
Okay.
Which I understand, but when you have passion and you have ambition, you get hostile when people don't live up to your expectations.
Yeah.
And I would side with that any day of the week.
That's your nature of you. I've known you for years at this point. That's literally how you think. And
Yeah,
operate,
like you put
You demand
everything to
the
the
best.
side. Yeah,
Yeah.
like if you're like it's you cannot become the best if you don't put everything to the side.
Yeah.
You kill your life.
Yeah.
There's no social life. There's no friends. There's Siege.
Yeah.
That's it. But let's just put it this way. Back in the days when I was playing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was known as the professional player and the world champion that doesn't play ranked.
Yeah.
I compared my early seasons of how many ranked games I played to how many ranked games they play today.
Yeah.
And I was averaging about double what they are playing these days. That to me isn't passion.
And there's no go-fors these days.
No.
There's nothing from that point of view either as
None.
well.
So it turns into one of those things where it's like, I have so many higher demands than this, and it's only on them to improve it, and I can only tell them to do it, but you know, if people don't want to help themselves, I can't help them. And yeah, that sounds like I'm putting blame on people.
Yeah.
Because I am.
Yeah.
People that want to win, give it all. Pengu played 500 ranked games a season back then.
Yeah. He was grinding, streaming, everything.
Yeah,
That was his whole
I mean,
life,
I constantly compare my players to Turd.
Yeah.
Turd might not be the greatest personality. I don't know him, so like you see what you see on the social media. But the guy fucking plays the game.
Yeah.
He has passion. He has will.
Yeah.
He plays more than my entire team combined. Had he spoken Korean, he would be in my team today.
You'd have him in.
Yeah, no doubt, not a question about it.
Yeah.
Because that's the sort of player I want.
Yeah.
I don't want the lazy guy.
And I suppose that comes back to the lack of the pipeline, though.
Yeah.
Because there's very few players coming up through Korea, which inherently does do two things. I guess you can't necessarily trade a player out that you see doesn't want it or anything else.
No.
And also those players, and again, I'm not pulling anybody out, but it's the same. And I think the results-wise, we see the same from FearX and D plus Gear players that get somewhat comfortable being the best of Korea, but okay with that place on the scene internationally.
Yeah. And that's where it kind of ends there. Like, you know, we can't go further if the people don't want to get further.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's like the end of the discussion part, kind of. Like, people need to show more effort if they want to succeed. It's a really shitty situation to be in.
Yeah.
It's not at all what I envision myself to be in, but the more you know.
Do you think then, I suppose again, if we take a long-term look at this, do you think Manchester and that immediate success you had ultimately has been a hindrance in the long term?
No. It should, well, it could have been, but I don't think so, because I think we've steadily improved, at least in practice.
Yeah.
I think that we are a better team now than we were back then by a long shot. But then the nerves take over, and I would say lack of in-game direction when we're playing. Like, it's very hard for Korean players to read the game. They don't have any in-game leaders in that country, really.
Right, okay.
Which means that it kind of comes to everyone and no one at the same time. I am impressed with Korea that they have been a region for so long, and they still managed to fall so far behind. So it's hard. I'm trying to find positives to say because I don't want to be constantly negative.
Yeah, especially
And
the
I mean,
region
they
that
are
you're
literally
operating
my
in.
players
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, right? So,
Yeah.
And it's the region I'm working for. It's the region I want to develop,
Yeah.
but I just can't because it's like the grassroots aren't there. They're burned up.
Do you know why that is? Like, have you spoke to your players or people in the Korean scene as to why that is?
No, they don't know. Nobody knows. part of it is that they feel like when we talk to management and stuff like this is that Siege you can play when you're 18 professionally. Video games is massive in Korea,
Yeah.
but it's the game that you can play the last
Okay.
as a professional, which
so
means
the talent feeds out to other games.
Exactly. It sucks.
Yeah.
But what can we realistically do about it?
Yeah.
And if the players don't want more, we can't pull more from them.
That must be really, really tough for you because I know your personality. I've
Yep.
known you a long time. We've been through various different iterations in the way that our relationship
Yep.
between the two of us is. And I know that what underpins that is you always want to win.
Yeah.
And then if that obstacle is there, that you've got a group, or maybe not even a group if we don't call it a collective, but a system where you're operating inside a team that is somewhat comfortable in that position, that must be really tricky.
It is very tricky. Very tricky.
Yeah.
Because I'll demand more, and if they don't provide it, I mean, I have demanded many times before.
Yeah.
If they don't provide it, I mean, like in any other professional environment, you'll get cut.
Yeah.
Problem is, who do I get?
Yeah.
It leaves me with only one option,
Mm-hmm.
which is going English speaking.
Yeah.
But that means that I have to cut everyone else too, because their English isn't proficient. So there's this.
Everybody. No.
I'd say Gotti might work, Misa maybe,
Okay.
but there are big maybes and big ifs and whats.
Yeah.
That I don't know if it would be possible, but you never know.
Yeah.
But that's the realistic.
And that's a
route of
very
things.
drastic measure.
Yeah, that's in my eyes. If that's the move we make, I've failed the project.
Yeah.
It's not we're not like this is just speculation, right? Like
Yeah, absolutely.
I wouldn't talk about this publicly.
If you was going to do it, you're not talking about it right
no.
now. Yeah.
No, not one bit. But it's where it has to logically land.
Yeah. Because you've exhausted ultimately every other option. Because
Yeah.
you have tried.
I have tried every player that is worth trying in Korea
Yeah.
that isn't already tied to another organization.
Yeah.
Of course, I can build a dream team with Koreans. Like that's not very hard.
Yeah.
You can pick 2-3 guys from each of the top teams.
Yeah.
But that's not possible.
Yeah.
That's not realistic. And the problem with those things being unrealistic is that the players never feel any pressure
Yeah.
to be better because they're safe.
And that cultivates an environment that.
It's just a continuous circle
Yeah.
all the way down. All the way down.
Okay, so there's a lot spoken about the system for next year
Yep.
and the fact that, especially for Asia Pacific, that's getting merged back into being
Yep.
one big collective region. And specifically for Korea, you're going up again with Japan.
Yep.
Any other regions, or is it just Korea
No,
and
it's
Japan?
just Japan, what I know.
So we're going back to APAC north of Old.
Kinda, yeah.
You think that'd be then a good thing?
No.
Okay. Because the way I was thinking is then the competition potentially improves. I know Korean and Japan different languages,
Yeah.
but then it might be the shock and awe effect that you need.
No.
Okay.
Because first of all, we're going up against tougher opponents.
Agreed.
Clearly, I mean, obviously, there's.
I mean, like,
Ko-
even
Korea
the-
League is terrible.
Even the middle of the road Japanese teams, the Kinetropes, the Vites are going to be.
Oh yeah. Like E36 is also a decent team.
Yeah.
Like we're talking about teams that can definitely compete against us.
Yeah.
So it makes it harder for us,
Mm-hmm.
which in a way can be seen as a positive thing. But if the players aren't putting in the effort now, will they put it in then? Maybe. I
was
don't
going to
know.
say if that then puts them, because at the minute you're top. Well, you are top 3.
Yeah.
/ competing always for top 1 in Korea.
Yeah.
But then if that shock and awe effect drops, the level of performances, and that puts you mid-table. Say you have an awful stage.
Yeah.
In-
That's
in
not
the
my
end.
ambition.
No, I know, but say you do, would that shock and awe them into wanting to then improve and getting back
I
to
cannot
that?
tell you that.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that there's as a coach, you can only do so much.
Yeah.
Everything comes back to the players.
Mm-hmm.
I keep telling everyone that I work with that my ultimate goal as a coach is to not be needed.
Yeah.
When the team is working that well, perfect. I don't even need to be there for the day-to-day basis. I mean, obviously I will be.
That'd be nice.
Yeah. But
Sorry.
that's the goal. That is the goal. And if I feel like I put in more effort than the players, something is off.
Yeah.
And I won't say that I put in more. I don't know. Quite each to their own, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think that my players are putting in the effort, which there's no pressure on them to do either. So it's like it's a fault of the region, whilst it's a fault of themselves.
Yeah.
Whilst it's a fault of their environment. So it's like everything is just negative with Korea, which is not what I want it to be.
Yeah.
But it is the realistic vision of it. And therefore, when Korea goes up with Japan,
Yeah.
I think we will only see Japanese teams.
In terms of like next year qualification to majors,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that's rough. Especially obviously with the organisation that you represent,
Yeah.
PSG Talon,
Yep.
partner organisation next year.
Yeah. Great organization. They're very they're meeting everything that we need them to.
Yeah. And you will be at the Reload event because
Yeah.
obviously that is for partner organisation teams, and I suppose with the way you're speaking, that's going to look like another tricky event.
It's going to be a very tricky event.
Yeah.
It's very much a downward trending spiral that like there's no way of getting out of. The only thing we can do is just keep working hard and keep teaching and keep learning.
And at some point the penny might drop.
Might, but I'm not a gambling man,
Yeah.
so who knows? Like, I need to see an improvement, or in the end, everyone who works with sports, we're mercenaries in one way or another.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be content with that. I know PSG Talon as an organization won't be content with that. So it's kind of like, how far will PSG Talon go to support a team that doesn't earn their support? I don't know.
Yeah. Because ultimately, like you said, the organisation's great. They're meeting.
Yeah.
Everything.
Honestly, PSG Talon.
They've boot camped you in Europe
Yeah.
2 times?
3 times.
3 times?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
So ahead of Manchester, have you had another boot camp?
EWC, we had a boot camp
Oh,
as
you had
well.
a pre-WC one and a boot camp
Yeah.
for this event as well.
Yeah.
So that's 3 boot camps that you've had out of them, and obviously, huge org, content support, and
Yeah.
everything.
They're doing great.
Yeah.
They're doing everything right. They're supporting us as staff with anything we need. We are delivering results in practice, but nobody gives a rat's ass about practice.
And other than, like I say, the relative success at Manchester, it's been a rough one.
And of course, again, it will sound this entire time that I'm passing blame. Yes, I am. But there's probably things I can do better.
Yeah.
Just I don't see them right now because we're constantly in the loop of trying to change what we do and how we approach things depending on what works and what doesn't. But yeah, there's always things I can do better too.
Yeah.
Just I don't know about them because I need to be told, which can be problematic.
And again, the same thing with the hierarchy that you said.
Yeah,
and
they would never.
that upwards feedback.
They would
critical.
never tell me anything negative.
Yeah. Okay.
Ever.
That's crazy. Okay, so let's bring it back around.
Yeah.
Without giving too much, like obviously, we're at day 3 of 6 Invitational.
Yeah.
This is going to go live right before your game, hopefully.
Okay. I have no idea. I'm just here just talking.
I'm going to hopefully put this live right before your game tomorrow.
Yep.
You're going up against Dark Zero.
Yep.
What are the immediate things that you can try and do? Like, have you hit a point of like crisis in the team? Have you had those conversations? Like, what are the things you're going to try and implement specifically for Dark Zero, but also for BDS these next 2 games, even if you do end up going out in groups,
Yeah.
to just try and give somewhat a good account of yourself?
That's hard to say because I don't know how much I'm willing to share on it.
Absolutely.
Obviously, as staff, we have to prepare a lot of different things. Our focus as a team has always previously been focus on our own core fundamentals.
Yep.
Because they have been so bad because, Korea is Korea, that we cannot prepare for the enemy because we need to just focus on what we do ourselves.
Yeah.
We've kind of gotten to that step in a way, at least in practice, so that we can start moving on to what our opponent does.
Yep.
And then it's just more or less of that. In the end, I still think we need to figure out our own core fundamentals in officials before we can focus too much on the enemy.
Okay.
And honestly, we haven't had those crisis conversations because we're not at the point to do that.
Yeah.
When we're out of SI, yeah, probably then.
Yeah.
Because looking at it realistically, we won't be making it that much further.
Yeah.
Because we have to beat probably what I would put the 2 best teams in the group.
Yeah.
That's for after SI. But for now, what we can do to improve, honestly, stop just being nervous. I mean, that's such a silly thing to say, maybe.
It's hard to say, isn't it?
But at the same time, I never felt it when I was playing, so I don't really get why they are.
Yeah.
And especially when we are the team that nobody expects to do anything, that's when we have no pressure on us. The only pressure that comes from them is within.
It's within.
And I think that that is very hard to remove when your players are very young, very not much life experience, very little experience outside of anything with video games. It's tough.
So I was actually just gonna end it there, but then just a very quick question, because the pickup of Yas.
Yeah,
Obviously a player that we've seen.
plenty of.
He's played a semi-final of a major
Yeah.
when he was at Damwon Kia. Does he not provide that to you? Or does he provide that to your team, I guess, if we put this in a...
Yes, he provided calmness, but mostly for himself,
Okay.
which means there's one less variable to worry about.
Yeah.
So he provides the calmness, and I do think he provides some team calmness because he's, in reality, the only real adult in the team,
Okay.
just like acting-wise, personality-wise.
Yeah.
So he brings that, which is really nice. He's a very, like, people have talked about him. Like, I'm going to put it down. He's not a toxic player to work with.
That was a rumor, wasn't it?
Yeah.
At one point was that Yas was quite toxic
I
within
have-
that Damwon
Yeah.
setup.
I have never heard him raise his voice. I have never heard him get angry at anyone. He's a very calm person.
Yeah.
Yes, he has expectations too. But expectations is not a toxicity.
Yeah.
It is just wanting what is best. I always tell my players and I tell everyone, your teammates are not friends first, they're teammates first,
Yeah.
colleagues. Every single player in your team, you included, but not to yourself, of course, is a tool to achieve success.
Yeah.
I don't use them because they are my friends.
Yeah.
I use them because they are tools in the project that is PSG Talon.
Yeah.
And how can we improve this toolbox, if you want,
Yeah.
to perform as much as we can? Obviously, our only tools are Korean. And, like, you know, everyone needs to do what they can and use each other to become the best.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I always believe that that is the case with most teams. And we'll see how it plays out with PSG Talon for that.
Okay, well, I think we'll end it there. Obviously, good luck in the next couple of days. I know it might
Jack.
end up being a rough one.
We don't need luck. We need Jesus, Allah, and all the other gods that exist. We need them all.
Well, maybe you'll find them. Maybe you'll find the results that you
I'll
need.
send them to the church down just down the streets.
And I honestly hope you do. Thank you for your time.
No
as well,
worries.
Fabian. I'm sure we'll pick up again. We'll probably speak again, you know, out at Reload or wherever. And I do hope it all goes well.
So do I. I really, really hope for it.
Right, thank you. And that's going to be it for this episode with Fabian, obviously airing during the Six Invitational. We will also be recording another episode just now that's maybe on a bit of a lighter note, but about Fabian himself, which will go out after Six Invitational. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and make sure